Fellow nerds, we are talking Loki Season 2, Episode 5, Science Fiction. And if you joined us for our live stream on Thursday, you know that we pretty much all enjoy it. I don't know if you fine gentlemen had a chance to watch it again prior to tonight. I did not either. I was watching all the other things we had to watch, but I still thought about it quite a bit. I still think it was a tremendous episode. One of the things I was thinking most about is how the writing, I think, is the strongest in the entire multiverse saga so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think we are seeing a god who considered humans as nothing more than ants, now trying to save every single human just to protect his human friends.
Yeah.
And he's like,
He had
without
to
them,
admit. He had to admit to Sylvie that she kept badgering him, and he goes, because I'm lonely and I want friends and I don't want them to die.
and he said, without them, where do I belong? And that is
Hmm.
honestly one of the most full circle moments of any character in the MCU we've gotten so far. And with how the season has been very circular in its writing, we keep coming back to things. Things happen, we kind of come back to it. It was very fitting. This whole season has been wonderfully written, wonderfully acted. I hope they land the finale season, hopefully the season finale next week. We did talk about that a little last week,
Hmm.
but I hope they land it because, man, it has been just a joy to watch.
Well, if you think about it, also to add on to the whole circular thing, and I think I mentioned this before, but I don't know, my memory is garbage. Um, but if you think about it, Loki is the perfect individual to be a part of this circular, never-ending, repeating timeline because in Norse mythology, that's exactly what he does. He has no choice but to help bring about Ragnarok every single time. And so he brings about Ragnarok, destroys Asgard, and everything ends up getting rebuilt. He becomes the trickster god once again, leads Surt and Fenris to go and destroy it all over again, and the cycle keeps repeating itself. And I believe in Norse mythology, if I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to like represent like life and death and the cycle of the seasons or something like that. But yeah, that's it's in the old Norse stories that he has no choice but to do it. Like even if he figures out that he's part of a cycle, he has to keep doing it.
And they're even getting so much closer to him becoming the god of stories like he is currently in
Yes.
the Marvel comics, which I think is a great way to go because everyone really Tom Hiddleston is tremendous as Loki, and it makes him a little less evil in going up against the heroes. And I 100% think they are still setting him up as Avenger Prime, and he is going to be the one who is picking the heroes out of the multiverse to help in the Kang Dynasty, and then I'm sure in Secret Wars in some way. And I cannot wait to see it because Tom Hiddleston does not get enough respect as one of those guys. You talk about Charlie Cox, you talk about Robert Downey Jr., maybe Chris Evans, as guys that are perfectly cast. Tom Hiddleston is in that group also.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can't picture Loki as anybody else, which is
Oh
very
yeah.
cool. I did have a couple of questions though. Now that I thought about the show for a couple of days, like, and maybe it's just me, I didn't understand. Maybe you guys did understand, and you can explain it to me. Like when he went back to see everybody, Frank,
Yeah.
um, Mobius, when he was, what was his name
Don,
when he was, yeah, Don. When he went back to see them, they had no idea who he was, obviously, in B-15. But when he saw Sylvie, why did she know who he was?
because she, like him, is also a god.
Because she's still Loki. That's
And
why.
she was not in her timeline. She was in a
Yeah.
different timeline that she wasn't pushed back to her own timeline, which probably,
She wasn't kidnapped from her timeline, memory erased. And then so all these other people, they were all kidnapped from their timeline and then forced to work in the TVA, but not her.
and
Well,
I
she
looked
was
at
kidnapped
as
from her timeline. But
I looked
what they do.
I looked at it more as those timelines were recreated because remember they take people the variants they took that were working in the TVA,
Hmm.
those timelines were pruned, so they were gone.
Yep.
Whatever happened with the when it exploded, the temporal loom
Hmm.
exploded, it recreated those timelines. So that might have been even before they were brought to the TVA. And we may find out that Loki is the one who brought a lot of these variants to the TVA. And even though Kang did things to wipe their memories and make them forget, it could have been Loki who actually brought them into the TVA as variants to start outside of the sacred timeline.
Speaking of the Loom, what's his name from New Rockstars? I'm just saying this right now. He mentioned something that I hadn't even considered. And if this is what the MCU is doing, then cool, kudos to them. He said that the idea behind the strings, all the threads, everything kind of breaking apart like spaghetti, but also the temporal loom, is supposed to signify the thread of fate.
Oh, that
He
is
said
good.
so. He said so. If you think about the Greek myth where you've got the fates and they're weaving the thread of time, and then they cut it at the end to signify someone dying. He said that's why they're using so much threads whenever they're talking about time. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. And he goes, so if that was Marvel's intention, then cool. If not, then it's accidentally it works.
I got a feeling it's accidental, at least with the writing we've been getting lately. Hopefully, I mean, up until this point, hopefully this Loki show has been great. But I don't know if I still trust, like Keith was just saying, I don't know if I still don't trust them to stick the landing. Like if they do, they prove it to me, then I'll be like, oh, okay. But I just feel like it's the ending is still going to be a little something underwhelming. I hope not, but with their track record, that's what they've gone with so far.
Yeah. Did you guys see Sierra in the chat?
Hope they explain further why Loki has these powers and how it happens. As far as his time slipping.
I'm guessing his time travel powers, yeah.
Yeah, because there's other ones. It's because he's Loki.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I hope they explain that. I hope he didn't just figure it out by, like opening his mouth. Like that scene.
Well,
I'd like to see how he figured it out.
Above that, she says, I feel like it'd make more sense if Sylvie had these powers and it was she who remains rather than Loki. And if the powers were a result of them, killing he who remains, if it's a result of that, then yeah, in a sense, it would make more sense for Sylvie to get them since she was the one who killed him. But that may not be where they're from.
That's like Highlander rules.
Yeah.
You kill someone, you get their powers.
Right. But
There
no,
can only be one.
I don't think they have explained why Loki is slipping through time and why he's able to control them. I'm not sure. It could be that he's one of those what is it, prime beings or something? What is it that they called Wanda? Nexus. Yeah. It could be that he's a Nexus being.
He certainly seems like he is because he's in every timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that if they do explain his powers, it's probably not going to happen in the season finale here. I think we may get it further down the line because he just all of a sudden was time slipping in the first episode.
Right.
After Sylvie kind of kicked him through the door. They never explained it. And now it's a power and he's just kind of figuring out how to control it. So, I do think the next episode is going to be a lot of trial and error, trying to get the temporal loom not to explode. I think he's going to try certain things. It's going to fail. And it'll be like Groundhog's Day. We'll keep seeing it over until they get it right and finally set it up.
Well, it's
that's
funny.
a good way to do it because, Iron Man, he had so many errors, even in all of his movies with his new equipment. They show him working with it every time. So I like it when they do that.
That was probably one of the best parts about Iron Man. It humanized him. It grounded everything because he didn't just figure everything out right away. I like how it was like he was trying to figure out how to stabilize flying and then, smashes into his ceiling. Probably would have killed people, but,
Well, he's a Nexus being. He can't die.
Yeah, okay. No, something that I was thinking about. So I was watching Doom Patrol today to try and catch up on it so I could, talk about it, but I'm further behind than I thought I was. But when what's her name was, kept rewinding time to make it perfect so that way everything would go the way that she wanted, I was thinking about Loki controlling his time slipping. It got me thinking about that because now he's sort of getting a grasp on it to try and figure out how to move back and forth through time so you can hopefully fix things. Whereas you've got Immortus over here who's just like, yeah, no, I just want everybody to love me and pay attention to me. I'm going to rewind time until I get it.
Now remember too, he's not just jumping time; he's jumping universes too, because like Hunter B-15 was not in the same universe as Frank or Don or Doug, so he's jumping universes and time. So it is like, would you say that's OP power?
It could be. It could very well be. I was watching an anime last night that's on my list called The Eminence in Shadow, and this is the definition of OP, but it's so hilarious.
And let's see, Sierra says, I see it being Loki towards the end, and I wouldn't necessarily be mad about that, but only if they explained a little further why he can move through the timelines. She says timeliness like that, but I think she means timelines like that. Yeah, I agree, Sierra. I mean, I do think they kind of give something. Sometimes comic books give less than adequate reasons why it happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works and it's fine. Okay, I don't really care. It was like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 when they're talking, didn't you hold an Infinity Stone? Yeah, whatever.
So wait, why didn't you put his mask on? Oh, he forgot. Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I'm just so happy with this. I'll be sad. I think it was Dave that was making a very good point on Thursday night that, there's so much time until Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars comes out. Another season of Loki probably would be a very good thing to add. Keep Eric Martin as the head writer, because I think he's done a great job. If the rumor is true that Michael Waldron left early on season 1 before it was done, and Eric Martin came in and kind of rewrote the finale and did a couple of the rewrites, he's done a great job. Bring him back for season 3. Let him, help shape where we're going to get the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, and I think we'll start getting back, to a little higher quality MCU than we've gotten.
Yeah. And Sierra says, will there be a war with Kang? I think that's what the whole Kang Dynasty is about. But we don't know for sure. But
no, they're gonna sit down and chat, and they're gonna be like, you know what, that Kang guy, he's got some good ideas.
Like
credits.
The subtitle for the Kang Dynasty is My Dinner with Kang, and it's just gonna be them like having dinner.
Yep.
Well, Sierra also says, I'm not clearly seeing where they're going with Kang, if she's honest. And you know what? Depending on Jonathan Major's trial, it could go really, really stupidly. I mean, the ideas I've heard rumored that the three of us have heard.
Yeah, it's going to be Doom now.
Are just kind of ridiculous. It would take so much to replace Kang. So
it would be easier. Like the whole dupe thing. I know they talked about it at the MCU retreat. I don't think they ever said we should do that. It was discussed. And I hope they realize that's a terrible idea, because it would be easier to replace Jonathan Majors as Kang.
Yeah.
Than bring a new villain in. Because if they're losing the casual viewers with how things are going now, that would lose everybody.
Actually, I was thinking about that. I don't know if you want to move this to tangent time or not, or if this kind of remains in Loki realm. Not entirely sure. But I was thinking about the idea of them moving away from Kang. So this is based on our discussion on, I think, Thursday. We were talking about how Quantumania didn't do that great, all things considered, right? Out of all the Marvel movies that have come out lately, it really didn't make as much money as they had hoped. In fact, I think was it one of you that said it was considered a flop?
Quantumania?
Yeah, I said that I thought I heard it was a flop, but it's really not. It almost cleared its.
It's disappointing.
500.
Okay.
Disappointing box office, underestimates. But I wouldn't say it's a flop, because with DVD sales and other things, it probably didn't.
Here's my thought then. If Marvel is disappointed, if the MCU, if Kevin Feige and company, if they're disappointed in its returns and they didn't think that it garnered the response they were hoping for, it could be that if they decide to oust Jonathan Majors and do away with all of this, they may completely do away with the idea of Kang in general, because if his premiere movie that he showed up in didn't do that well and not enough people saw it, then they may decide, you know what? Let's just do another movie and introduce a new villain that people are actually going to watch.
Mm,
But they would
I
have to
really
totally. I don't think. I think if they
It would be a
switched
lot
out
of work.
Kang,
But I don't
don't
know.
do Secret Wars. You obviously can't do the Kang Dynasty. They would have to
No.
switch a lot of things, which
They
they
would.
100% could. And, that's fine. Let's see. If Loki does become He Who Remains, what happens with Kang then? Will there be a movie about it? I'm assuming that if Loki becomes He Who Remains, we will likely see that develop between a Loki season 3 and some of the movies and stuff. We're going to see. And he won't do away with Kang. He'll just make sure none of the evil Kang variants pop
Right.
up in any timelines, is what we are thinking, I believe.
So, Sierra, if you go back and watch, we did an InFocus video on Kang and all of the other variants of Kang. If you go back and watch it, we actually do break it down pretty well. That was a good video, by the way. We break down all the different types of Kangs. Not all of them are slated to become He Who Remains. It's just one variation of him. And in fact, in the MCU, they actually took 2 versions of Kang and kind of crammed them together to create He Who Remains. It's not really I don't think that's a character in the comics, He Who Remains. I believe
It
it
is,
was
but it's not a Kang variant. There is a
okay,
He
yeah.
Who Remains in the comics, and he was just a person at the end of time overseeing the TVA, but it
Right.
wasn't Kang. That was a change for the MCU.
But yeah, so there's so many other different versions. In fact, there is a younger
Iron Man.
version of Kang that joins the Young Avengers and tries to what's that?
He starts the Young Avengers.
Yeah, he starts the Young Avengers. So they may even go a totally different route. Maybe they're if they're going to keep a version of Kang in the story, they may not make him the villain anymore. Who knows? There's so many things that they can do with him.
And now, while you're saying you're not seeing any setups for a Kang Avengers movie, I follow a few scoopers on Twitter, formerly known as X, and
Scoopers?
pooper scoopers. And one of them, who has been accurate, My Time to Shine Hello, who has hit on quite a few things. And she was the one who said that this was going to be a more character driven episode 5 that we got. And it definitely was. She said all of the people who have been writing articles and talking about how the MCU retreat was talking about alternatives to Kang and replacing him with Doom for this. She said, wait till you see episode 6. Those articles will go bye-bye. So it sounds to me, if this scooper is to believe, we are going to see a heavy dose of Kang the Conqueror, maybe a Mortis. Did I say that right? Am I confusing? It is.
Because you're thinking about Doom Patrol.
I'm thinking of Doom
right?
Patrol, yeah. But Kang is a Mortis. Kang is Kang the Conqueror. Kang is the Scarlet Centurion. Kang is Roma Tut. There's a bunch of different variants of Kang, and I wonder if this scooper is to be believed, it sounds to me like there is going to be a very heavy dose of Jonathan Majors as Kang in this season finale.
So do you think there's a chance that we'll end up visiting the Council of Kangs again?
Yes.
But
That
you're
would be
saying
cool.
there's a chance.
And for those of you wondering what Doug is talking about, we're talking about the post-credit scene from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It only made like 465 million, so not many people saw it. But they had that post-credit scene with all of the different Kangs there, and I do think we'll see it again. They may have even filmed it at the same time, something for the Loki finale, because I'm hoping we get a post-credit scene at the end of this season of Loki. Now, what that could be, I don't know. But
Yeah.
think about it. We're also supposed to get, we might as well, I got us out of tangent time, but I'm going to jump us back in there only because the Marvels is coming out the same day as the season finale of Loki. So we won't be doing a watch party on Thursday because we will be at the theater for our spoiler-free review of the Marvels. And there is a lot of rumors about a post-credit scene for the Marvels.
What are the rumors, Keith? Who's it going to be?
That we are going to get some of the X-Men from the X-Men universe, not new people, but basically we are going to start seeing the multiverse starting to
Break apart.
come together,
It feel like a
jumping
lead
in
into
different
Deadpool.
universes. Very much leading into Deadpool, yes, with the TVA. For those of you who haven't heard the Deadpool 3 rumors, pretty much every member of the X-Men from the Fox X-Men movies are going to appear in that movie. And that could be that was my exact first thought too. When I read that, I was like, okay, this is going to be something for Deadpool 3, because even though it got bumped out of next May because it's not done filming, and obviously we still have the Screen Actors Guild strike,
Mm-hmm.
I think they definitely set up something for that. And I can't wait to see those X-Men again. It'll be nice. I mean, they made some really bad movies, but they made some good movies too.
And I don't think any of the acting was bad. Like James McAvoy as great casting. Same with Michael Fassbender. Those are just great castings.
X-Men 3 was the best.
You had better watch your mouth, Douglas.
I mean, just thinking about the pure
Wait.
theater that was the line, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch." Ah,
I thought you meant like Spider-Man 3 was the best movie ever.
no,
Or was
X-Men 3.
Was it the Amazing Spider-Man 2? Was that
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was so fucking bad.
Just remember one thing. We joke about X-Men: The Last Stand being terrible, and it was. But do you remember what the Phoenix destroyed in that movie?
Oh God, no.
Alcatraz, where Frank Smith escaped, or Frank escaped in 1962.
I forgot that's where it took place.
It's all connected, guys. All connected.
1962? Isn't that when the X-Men First Class happened?
No, that was late. That was like 68, because it was the Cuban Missile Crisis. But close, yeah. I mean, it is kind of funny that they chose Alcatraz when we are getting some of the Fox X-Men, supposedly.
Maybe it was a cheap place to film.
Yeah, really. We'll pay you to film here.
Right.
Yay.
By the way, here's a list of repairs.
But it was funny because a while ago, one of the rumors that was circulating about, and I haven't heard it recently, was that Kate Bishop, Haley Stanfield, was going to show up in a post-credit scene for the Marvels, kind of being recruited by Miss Marvel, Iman Vellani, to kind of start up the Young Avengers. And like Doug was saying, Iron Lad was a Kang variant that came back and started the Young Avengers. Dave said it too. I don't want to leave you out, Dave. But
That's all right.
what if we get something along those lines? What if we get a Kang? What if we get the X-Men in one post-credit scene, and then a Kang variant as Iron Lad? I don't want to say hooking up with, because that implies something different.
Right.
But meeting up with Miss
Networking.
Marvel. Networking. Yes, thank you, Doug. Networking with Miss Marvel and Kate Bishop at the end.
Perfectly
Networking.
played by Jovan Wade. Would that be a great casting?
That would be fantastic, Dave. I like that. He has been tremendous in Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
He was.
I mean, he's the best cyborg I've seen.
Yeah, I don't want to disparage Ray Fisher because he'll probably come after me on social media, but man, Javion, is it Javion Wade? Jovan Wade, whatever. I'm sorry for butchering your name. I know he watches, but he has been tremendous on Doom Patrol. I'm sad it's ending. I really am. But
what was the X-Men spin-off movie that took forever to come out and ended up being terrible?
Dark Phoenix?
No, that
You know, if you talk about Gambit,
no. Did Gambit
that
come
never
out?
came out.
Oh, okay.
No,
No,
never.
this came out. It was they were like one of the trailers. They were making fun of all the release date changes.
Oh, the New Mutants.
The New Mutants. That's it. I was just thinking about this. How hilarious would it be, and totally within just something that Deadpool would do, if they're introducing all the different X-Men. They're all coming out, and we're from this universe, and we're from this universe, and then the New Mutants try to jump on his. No, not you guys.
No, but they
Nope.
bring Taylor Joy. No, you come on, you can come.
Right, yeah.
Rest, you
Just
get the
you.
hell out of here.
The rest of you go.
Yeah, and take that bear with you.
Right. Oh.
Oh,
But I'm Demon Bear. Yeah,
that
the
would be
comic.
something. Yeah, that would definitely be something that Deadpool would do. Something like that. And he will bring back Vinnie Jones, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
100%. But let's get back to Loki real quick. Any thoughts on what we may see in the season finale on Thursday, post-credit scenes, anything along those lines?
Are
that
you
gentlemen are
asking
thinking?
what's next?
Yes.
What's next?
What's next for Loki?
Well, I hope it wraps up in a way that they haven't been able to do so far. I don't know what that is yet. Obviously, like you said, they can't end with this season with Loki being on the throne at the end of time. They can't. There's too much story to be told after that. But he is gonna right the ship before this, finale. He's gonna get, but there's gonna be a twist at the very end as to why it didn't exactly work out like the audience thought. That's what I think is gonna happen. But it's gonna appear to Loki that, I fixed the loom, I fixed this rift, I'm amazing, and then it doesn't turn out.
I have a theory that the two of you will hate.
Uh-oh.
Yay!
Bringing out my pole, my fishing pole.
Okay. What if we were talking about all the, Loki possibly spending the episode trying and not being able, trying to figure out what would work. What if he figures out the only way to actually fix this issue isn't to keep going back to when the loom exploded, but to go back before the loom exploded, to go back before He Who Remains was killed? What if he has to move all the way back there? Yes, go back to the end of last season. What if he has to either save him or prune Sylvie?
Nope, I'm gonna reel that in. I wish that were true.
I told you you wouldn't like it, but what if he figures out that's the only way to save this?
That does fit with the
And he has to
circular
be the
sort of
villain.
storytelling they're doing here. I
And
don't
he's
hate
gonna
that
cry
at all.
while doing it. Like, I'm so sorry. This is the only way.
Yeah, the only
I kinda
reason I
like
reeled that in is because it's too good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the writers were on strike for a while. There's no way they came up with that.
Yeah.
But I do think we might see Loki at the end of time, but he won't have the sacred timeline sorted out or anything. He's probably going to see, oh my God, these Kang variants are popping up everywhere. And it may be, okay, now it's time to get to work or something along those lines, or something, much better. I think he will be sitting at the Citadel at the end of time, probably at the end of Loki season 2. But it'll only be because he has to stop all of these Kangs and start figuring out how he's going to do it. And we may even see, him saying something along the lines, there isn't even an active team of Avengers right now. What the hell are we going to do?
Now, does he know that?
I would assume so. If he's been at the Citadel long enough, he would know that right now, everyone's kind of doing their own thing right now. Now, maybe we'll get in Captain America Brave New World some hint back. You know what? With all that's going on, we really need to get a active Avengers team working here
We
because
pull this back together. Yeah. And whatever happened with Wanda? Oh well, we don't call her anymore.
She went a little.
She's out. She's doing her own thing.
she had baby
She's
fever.
Doing her own thing.
She had baby fever. She got a,
Baby fever. That's such like a horrible way of putting it. Oh, she had baby fever. She tried to murder many multiverses of people.
So she took over a bunch of people, a town, and took over their minds, and did all this stuff. Do you guys know the sacrifice? No one will ever know the sacrifice she made.
I mean, yeah, she sacrificed an entire other dimensions group of Avengers. You don't understand what she was feeling. So she opened a demonic book and almost summoned a horrifying creature that would take over the universe. But she was sad. You don't understand.
You don't get
I
it. You
want,
don't get the sacrifice she made.
Because
I
of her big
want,
kids.
I want
Yeah.
some scene at some point with Monica Rambeau where they're like, "Why did you say that to her?" She goes, "Do you know what she did to a town? I was just trying to. I
You
was
wanna
just
blow me
like,
up?
don't kill me.
She's trying to calm her down.
You. That sacrifice, man."
I said what she
Walking
needed to
down-
hear.
Yeah.
I was just saying what she needed to hear, man. And
I do
was
like
believe
the I do like the clip from the recent the Marvel's dump that they've been putting all over TikTok. And where they were explaining how they got their powers, and she goes, "Yeah, I walked through some witch's light spell or whatever." Like, what? A witch? Like, okay, I guess this is the thing now.
You had to fight a witch? Well, I didn't really fight her. I helped her.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you did what?
She was a good witch, fighting a bad witch who did bad thing. Let's just not talk about it. You know what? We've got problems ahead of us with
Sacrifices
Creed.
were made, okay? That's all you need to know.
And no one will ever understand them.
And look at that. We got Dinky Soul Man in the chat. Dinky Man Soul in the chat. Welcome, Dinky Man Soul.
You know, whenever I read that, I always feel like it's somebody in Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason.
Okay.
The name. Dinky Mansul. Dinky Mansul.
But I mean, I honestly hope that My Time to Shine Hello is correct, and we do get an offering of how terrifying Kang will be as a villain in
That would be nice.
season finale.
But you know
Because
what?
they
I don't know if they were the same person that said in Special Investigation that our hearts would be broken by who we found out was. It's just not the same person. That's
No.
good because that person said it'd break our hearts, but we already saw it. We already knew it was coming.
The person, the scooper who said that was quoting somebody from Marvel Studios saying we would be heartbroken. They didn't say I watched it and everyone's going to be heartbroken.
All right. Well,
Okay,
either
looks
way, they
like-
were wrong. That person who said that.
Who would win, Miss Minutes or Bill Cipher? Bill Cipher would definitely take her out. Bill Cipher is all powerful. Miss Minutes is an AI with vast knowledge of things and events. But I think Bill Cipher
mean,
would
look.
take her out.
They took her out by rebooting her.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
one more thing. Sorry that I read and I totally forgot to mention this.
I agree.
nope, we're going
again,
on. Time for
I
Gen V,
did-
everybody.
I did not notice this. This is saw this on Twitter. Somebody pointed out that the TVA spaghettiing out of existence was part of He Who Remains plan. Otherwise, why would a graphic of Miss Minutes pop up and say thanks for your service unless this was the plan to begin with? Like, otherwise, why even create that little animated graphic?
It's not, but that makes sense.
Or it was just the writers and directors thought this will look cool.
Probably
You know,
the latter.
That's probably it. Every time we give them credit, we usually give them too much credit.
And they're just like, this would be a fun set piece. They're not even putting any thought into it.
Unfortunately, that's probably more accurate. And let's see, Dinky Man Soul. Did you know Bill Cipher took out the entire army of Time Baby? I did. I watched that episode with you, buddy.
He's like, oh yeah.
Almost to 1,000 stones.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Sierra.
Uh-oh.
That's a tough choice. We got a lot of great voices out there for you to choose from.
We also have other things other than voices. Remember, we've got so many other things to choose from.
Everybody loves the voices.
Hey fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.